Let's talk about this matchup as a whole. Mention both these teams right now are starting to garner some momentum, and when you look at it, it's a tale of two different stories with the quarterbacks. You got one veteran in McDonald, and you got the rookie in Trayson Bourguet.
Oftentimes we talk about contrast in style football games. Mike, how about contrast in quarterbacks? Trayson Bourguet is making his second career start, true freshman. He's just out of high school. He's a baby as far as college football is concerned. Matt McDonald, on the other hand, he was at Boston College with A.J. Dillon. When you think about that, it seems like a lifetime ago. He was 25 years old, 5,000 career passing yards. He knows the ins, the outs, everything. He's seen every defense, every front, and obviously is going to know how to handle himself tonight.
Sometimes the best friend for a young quarterback like Bourguet is a great running game, and they've got one of the most electric running backs in this league in Sean Tyler.
Have to get him going tonight. Get the play action going. Ease it up on Sean Tyler, on your quarterback just a little bit, and Sean Tyler's a running back that can do it. He is explosive on the perimeter. This is 2019 versus Georgia State. 6 carries, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. The team, Mike, went 44 carries for 450 yards, 7 touchdowns on the ground. Why does that matter? Eric Lewis, defensive coordinator for Bowling Green, same structure for that Georgia State defense that he'll be running tonight for Bowling Green. So Sean Tyler and company believe they can get it going. They've gotten it going before. See if they can get it done tonight.
Styles make fights. We got a great contrast in styles between these two offenses. We'll delve further into the matchup when we come back from the Doink in just a moment.
This holiday, make no mistake, everything here is Philadelphia cheesecake. Cheesecake is everything. Make your own.
Come be a part of a once-in-a-lifetime celebration filled with once-in-a-lifetime magic you don't want to miss at the Walt Disney World 50th Anniversary Celebration. Only through March 31st, 2023.
Newest thing from Pizza Hut isn't pizza at all. It's cheesy, so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just $6.99. Enough for 2, price for 1. New Pizza Hut melts, just $6.99.
I be like,
what if just an idea could become a family tradition? This is financial security, and Lincoln Financial Solutions will help you get there as you plan, protect, and retire.
Back with you here from Bowling Green, Ohio. Mike Morgan, Cole Cubic. We talked to you about the resurrection of this Bowling Green program, just how far they've come. With more on that, here's Quint Kesnick.
I'm not freezing and there is no wind, but I'm here to talk about Scott Loeffler and his rebuild, his overhaul of this Bowling Green program. 4 years ago when he took the job, he knew exactly what he was getting himself involved with. The program needed to be overhauled. He got rid of some personnel. After a winless COVID season, they won 4 games last year, and guess what? They're in the hunt for the MAC East Division. This is a program that last won the MAC title back in 2015, and folks, guess this game. This is the biggest game played in the Doink in over 7 years.
Quint, good stuff. I don't think it could be overstated. The last time they won the MAC, Dino Babers was the head coach before he took the Syracuse job. It's been a long road back. But Bowling Green believes they've got the team that can get back to the MAC championship game. It'll be the Broncos receiving the opening kickoff. This is Sean Tyler. He is electric. Tyler up the right hash and gets stonewalled right at the 20-yard line. Great pursuit that time by Bowling Green. And that'll give us our first look at that Western Michigan offense. And the new signal caller, Trayson Bourguet, out of Tucson, Arizona. We've got 2 West Coast kids playing quarterback tonight. And Bourguet with just his second start out of Tucson, 16 of 33, 123 yards last year. A threat to run, but again, Cole, they're going to rely heavily on that ground game.
Have to. Offensive line has got to be able to handle a really solid Bowling Green defensive front tonight.
They'll start off at a 3-wide look. And take a look at the near sideline. where Western resides. On first down, nice carry, wiggling his way outside the numbers, past the 30 and out of bounds to the 35-yard line. That is Sean Tyler, who has over 2,000 career rushing yards.
Mike, it almost looked exactly like the replay of what we watched in the open against Georgia State a couple of years ago. Remember when we talked to Tim Lester in our meetings this week, he said, we need to hit some inside zones off the back table. There it was right there. Cutback run's going to be huge for Western Michigan tonight.
2,300 career rushing yards, 20 touchdowns for the junior out of the state of Illinois. Nothing doing on the first down carry, testing the middle, and jammed up there that time by the Bowling Green defense. The Falcons coming in 5th best in the MAC against the rush. They'll be tested early and often tonight.
I tell you, it's not going to be easy going into the teeth of this Bowling Green defense. 54, Anthony Hawkins is a load inside for the Falcons.
Out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 9, the new running back is Salam. Instead, they will try the ground game with Salam, and that is Carl Brooks, number 11 on the tackle. And for those new to MAC football, Carl Brooks is one of the best athletes in this league. He might be one of the best athletes in the country, Cole.
There's no doubt, especially at 300 pounds. Late blitz there for Bowling Green that forced the missed assignment.
2nd in the country in sacks is Carl Brooks with 7.5. Sets up a 3rd down and 9.
This is what you get with the young quarterback. The look over gets him into the right play.
Bourget out of the shotgun. From the pocket, throws far side, incomplete. Came out a little bit hot to Salam, and who cannot hold on to it. Would have been well shy of the marker anyway, and it will be a punt situation.
Just trying to get a quick outlet throw into the flat. Once again, help your young quarterback. Solid protection up front. Just got to make the catch. A little bit behind him. Make that grab. Help your quarterback. Get him comfortable. Get him confident.
Bahalik is the punter. Averaging just under 41 yards a punt this year. Rogers back to receive. Bowling Green has been terrific returning punts this year. Top 15 in the country. This will be a fair catch, though. Signaled for at the 19. And that's where the Falcons will take over 1st down and 10. So the complete contrast to what we saw with Western Michigan. This is Matt McDonald. He is a veteran, and I mean a big-time veteran, 24 years of age, 6-year guy, former Boston College Eagle. He actually followed his head coach, Scott Leffler, who was the OC at Boston College. Threw for a few yards at BC. Most of the damage he has done has been at Bowling Green. Father led Southern Cal to a national title in '79, played 7 years in the NFL, and 2 brothers playing Division I college football as well. Matt McDonald, who had surgery a couple of years ago, he told us the shoulder is fine, he is healthy, and they are geared up for a big year on offense.
Yeah, I saw him in Tennessee a couple of years ago, and he did not look the same as the quarterback that I studied leading into this game the last few weeks. He's got that arm strength back, can make all the throws. And one thing we're going to talk about tonight, formations. You'll see Scott Leffler use a lot of them along with this motion.
On 2nd down and long, McDonald from the pocket, missiles one complete, caught at the 30, and wrestled down immediately right near the sticks. That is Tyrone Broden. Tyrone Broden kind of stands out. He is 6'7". That is tied for the tallest wide receiver in all of college football, number 0.
He's 210, so he's got a pretty good body to go along with it. He can utilize that body to wall off defenders. Obviously going to be a red zone threat as well.
That'll move the sticks from the 31-yard line to the ground game. Little wiggle. Great run inside. Past the first down marker and down to the 46-yard line. A terrific run by the scat back, Teron Keith, brought down by Delano Ware after a gain of 15 yards.
You're seeing Scott Leffler and company utilize these formations already. First play out of the gate formation into the boundary. Now you have a nub tight end into the boundary. So they're forcing this Western Michigan defense that gives you a lot of fronts to stay awake and line up correctly.
On 1st down. Little sweep action to the far side, and that's bottled up immediately. Nealand and Fisk, both D linemen on the tackle. No gain on the play.
Braden Fisk, a lot of fun to watch. 55 for that Western Michigan defense. Heavy-handed. More athletic than he looks at 6'5", 300 pounds.
He told us he was solely an offensive lineman in high school. This was the one school that said, no, we'll go ahead and play on the D-line.
Kind of the opposite of how it normally works. You get a defensive lineman in high school, you say you're going to move him over to offense, and work the opposite way for Fisk.
Johnson in the backfield, swing past the near side and tripped up right near the line of scrimmage at the 45. That's Jamal Johnson on the grab, the sophomore from Frankfort, Illinois. Zaire Barnes on the tackle, and that's one to look at as well. Number 3, the linebacker for Western Michigan.
He's light. He's 220, 6'1", but Zaire Barnes, when you put the film on of this Western Michigan defense, he is an absolute joy to watch. I don't care where he is on the field. He is going to find the football. He is going to attack the football. A guy that just feels like he is locked in on every single snap.
They love their linebackers with Barnes and Corvin Moment, who's the reigning defensive player.
3 standing up over on the left side of the offensive line.
On 3rd and long. Good pressure and dumping it down low back near the original line of scrimmage. That's the tight end, Gazarick, who's also a pitcher on the baseball team, but immediately brought down by Lovely.
It's one of the things you're going to get with this Lou Esposito defense. A lot of different players standing up, a lot of different players moving around. He's a bit of a Joe Lee Dunn protege. Was at Memphis with Joe Lee Dunn, studied that defense a little bit. I played against Joe Lee Dunn when he was at Mississippi State. I can tell you it's an absolute bear. It is a headache to deal with and manage, and it gives Western Michigan a lot of advantages on that side of the football.
If you bought stock in Aussie punters in college football at the beginning of the year, you're getting major dividends. Here's another one. Sammy Sir from Melbourne, Australia, gets off a good one. That'll bounce inside the 10, but not able to cover it inside the 5 before it goes for a touchback. 51-yard punt. No return. We're scoreless here in Ohio.
ESPN.
Let's take a look at tonight's keys to the ball game, brought to you by Jared Cole.
Western Michigan, make it easy on your quarterback. We already saw a pass out into the flat that was dropped. You have to get Treson Bourguet comfortable. Get the run game going a little bit. It's not just the offensive line. Make life easy for him. And then for Bowling Green, you got to manage that front 7. We already saw it. A little bit of an odd blitz look from Western Michigan on 3rd down, that previous possession. You just have to manage it. Just understand where it is, what your assignments are. All right, here's the look over for the young quarterback. Want to make sure you get into the right play, but the counter from Bowling Green on defense is what we watch. Are they going to move the front, or are they going to add a late pressure?
Bowling Green has been pressuring quarterbacks all year long. 32 sacks, the 2nd highest total in the country. They'll probe the left side behind that offensive line. Sean Tyler squeezes out 3. Dontrez Brown on the tackle. One thing on Bourguet gaining some confidence last week, and so too to this Western Michigan squad. They went to Miami of Ohio, pulled off an upset. Miami of Ohio had won 16 consecutive home games. Tim Lester saying that was a huge program and confidence builder for us. This has been a little bit of a turnover year for them. They've made it to 3 bowl games in 5 years. Pass complete in the flat near side to about the 28-yard line. That's Steady Eddie, they call him, Jelani Galloway.
Get a 3rd and 1. See if you try to get to the line of scrimmage quickly. Get a quick run play called. You sub in another tight end.
They need the 30. They need about a foot out of the shotgun. Tyler to the left of Bourguet. Gets the handoff and nothing doing. Ran into a wall and driven backwards for a loss on the play. Darren Anders, who led the MAC last year with 124 stops, in on the tackle here.
Now, Tim Lester told us about linebacker run through. Look at that at the line of scrimmage. Just a massive collision. And then fighting off a block, able to get into the backfield, get some pressure. Big Billy Roberts up front, 35, doing work. DJ Taylor, 17, coming through the line of scrimmage. These fronts for both teams look like they're going to be a little bit too much to handle here early on.
And with that, we might see more of this. Punting. Mahalik. And a fair catch at the 30 by Rogers. The 2nd series for Bowling Green coming up. Scoreless ball game so far.
Everything. Make your own. ESPN College Football is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
We talked about what's at stake for both these teams very much in the MAC championship game hunt, and it's been a while. 2015, the last time Bowling Green got there, they defeated Northern Illinois 34-14. The head coach was Dino Babers. They finished 10-4, and a year later you had P.J. Fleck, now the head coach at Minnesota, with a 13-1 season, the first 10-win-plus season in over 100 years for the Broncos program. And you see the two coaches with Coach Lester and Coach Leffler. They both knew they had their work cut out for them when they got the respective jobs, and here they are knocking on the door. Again, a victory for Bowling Green tonight. They'd be tied for first in the East. Western Michigan could be in second place in the Western Division. From the 30-yard line, it's McDonald. And a little toss to the far side and scooting down the sideline. First down yardage. That is the scat back to Ron Keith, the sophomore out of DeLand, for 10 yards.
Just a way to move your playmaker around a little bit. You put him in motion, give him the jet out of the backfield off the play action. And this is where the veteran quarterback, Matt McDonald, really shows up. He understands when to get that football out. Don't get greedy. Don't try to find too much. Get the ball in the hand of your playmaker. Let him run.
McDonald, perfect so far, 4 for 4. Fakes the draw. Pocket collapsing, and he will go down. Sacked by Marshawn Nealon, the redshirt sophomore, his second sack of the year.
Going to be a really good football player, and it's not just him. It's Andre Carter on the other side, number 1 as well. Carter, one of the better pass rushers in the league. You see him working on the left tackle right there. Good push. But Marshawn Nealon, he is a heavy-handed defensive end. Not super athletic, not very twitchy, but when he gets his hands on you, he's going to move you. You saw him right there with that bull rush to the inside move, getting the sack on Mac McDonald.
And a loss of 7 on the play. Quick pass, caught at the 30, past the 40, wiggling past the 45, into plus territory, down to the 45. That is the top target, Odu Hilaire. They call him OJ. His 27th grab of the year. It's good for 22 yards.
And Q, it feels like with the way these defensive lines are dominating, plays like that are going to be massive for both offenses.
31 consecutive games with a catch now for Hilaire. Little pitch play to the edge. And great running room on the far side past the 40 before Jamal Johnson is knocked out of bounds. Right now, the best drive of the game for either side belongs to Bowling Green. That's 9 yards.
I like getting the ball out on the perimeter. And once again, you see Scott Leffler, this offense, doing a nice job. Greg Nozel, Max Warner, moving bodies around, different formations.
Patterson, the lone back on second and short. Pressure coming, and going down again is McDonald. Another sack, and it's Braden Fisk from that nose guard spot.
Such a fun player to watch. Talked to Lou Esposito about him before the game. He said he just does everything right. A little quick rip up under the center. That's just an excellent job using your hands. Beats Bronson Warner around his right side. When you can bring the power and you force an offensive lineman to sort of sink, get their cleats in the ground because they don't want to give up that bull rush, that's when the quickness really comes into play. Excellent job there by Braden Fisk.
Broncos defense had 7 sacks last week in that win against Miami of Ohio. Another quick pass play, popped and dropped at the 41-yard line. A pickup of 3 for Hilaire.
All right, so how about the big 6'5", 300-pounder, Braden Fisk inside 55. He's lined up on the nose last time, 0 nose, head up on the center. He gets the nice pass rush and wins. All right, so you think he's going to be gassed, right? We come back, we get a screen to the far side. Who's in on the tackle? 55, Braden Fisk, almost all the way over to the numbers. Excellent hustle, excellent motor. We had a really great visit with him earlier this week, and we got about 14 seconds into the interview, and he said, you know, my dad worked in the steel mill my whole life. I didn't really know much other than football, and I just said, you know what, that's it. We're good. I got it. That's all I needed to hear from Braden Fisk. Dad, steel mill, played football his whole life. We're good. I know what that guy's all about.
Encapsulates that blue-collar mentality. Hey, we got Bryce Young and number 6, Alabama. Speaking of blue-collar, they'll square off against Jaden Daniels at number 10, LSU in a huge SEC West matchup. Coverage beginning Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app. The Crimson Tide have won 10 out of the last 11 against the Tigers. Quint, what do you have?
When you watch these two teams on tape, it's only confirmed by what you see watching warm-ups and then thus far in this game. The defensive lines are by far the most dominant position groups on the field today. We've seen Fisk make plays. Andre Carter's get-off is next level. Dabney is a load inside for Western Michigan. We've already mentioned Carl Brooks for Bowling Green and Hawkins inside. And so I think the key, and Cole, you hit on it, is how do you move the ball without getting involved in the blocking business? Attack the perimeter, misdirection. I think that's going to be key for both offenses because by far these D-lines are above par for the level.
And that's certainly been the trend so far in this opening quarter. Very little time for quarterbacks to throw. On a 4th down and 6, too long for a field goal. They will punt it. Sir will try to pin him inside the 5. It's going to bounce right around there. Bounces at the 7 and perfectly executed. Down at the 3-yard line, a 38-yard punt and no return. 4:26 to go. We're still scoreless here in Ohio. This season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Thank you, everybody, tuning in once again to MACtion. The first of 4 weeks of midweek MAC football. Mike Morgan, Quint Kesnick, Cole Kublik. Great to be with you here from the Doit in Bowling Green, Ohio. An unseasonably warm night. Both these offenses trying to heat up. Not so much. Tyler can't find any daylight, no crease whatsoever. And Cole, to go back to your initial point, the line of scrimmage is being dominated by both of these defenses.
It's going to be tough to win against Bowling Green in between the tackles. They're just very solid with the interior of that defensive line. Anthony Hawkins, we've talked about him a couple of times tonight. Very difficult to deal with. Walter Hare, very difficult to deal with. It's going to have to be on the perimeter. Going to have to probably move the pocket a little bit at some point for Western Michigan.
On a 2nd down and 9. Bourget out of the shotgun, handoff behind the right side of the line. Popped and dropped at around the 9-yard line is Tyler. That's J.B. Brown on the tackle after a gain of 5. So a little more breathing room for Bourget in this offense.
Yeah, we may need to see some more 1st down throws for Western Michigan because you're getting single safety looks, expecting some of those quick throws, expecting a heavy run game. Obviously with the freshman quarterback in. Now, this is where a young man like Carl Brooks, number 11, is able to tee off. See how creative they can get with alignment up front. Brooks going to be at the top of your screen, lined up at that defensive end position. Extra bodies over him.
Both teams 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Handoff. Testing the middle again, out to the 11-yard line. That'll be shy, though. Brown on another tackle. So another punt upcoming. It's been a punt fest here in the first quarter.
Well, if there's a punter that you want, Pitt Mahalik is going to be the guy. This young man ran a 10.9 in high school, captain of his track team. His dad played soccer at Eastern Illinois. His grandfather played soccer professionally in Austria. One of Coach Lester's favorite players on this entire football team. Talking about what a great athlete he is.
Punters are people too, right?
Tonight I'm going to allow it.
Caught at midfield by Rogers. Tries a shake and bake to the 45 and somehow gets out to the 37-yard line. He averages over 12 yards a return. A nifty return right there by the junior out of Medina, Ohio.
Yeah, I talked to Joe Palcic, the special teams coach for Western Michigan, and he said, 2 of my favorite players on this football team, my punter and my kicker. I said, you got a former NFL linebacker telling me that? I'll talk about him.
The Sunday NFL Countdown Crew has you covered week 9, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and the Monday Night Countdown Crew gets you set for Ravens Saints, 6 Eastern, both on ESPN and the ESPN app. Best field position of the night for either side. Bowling Green starting in plus territory. Stacked up run by Patterson. He's kind of the workhorse between the tackles at 6 feet 220, the sophomore out of Jacksonville.
It's getting a little repetitive with me calling out 55 for this Western Michigan defense, Braden Fisk. But once again, at the bottom of that pile, some solid penetration in front. Inside zone play for Bowling Green, trying to test the middle of that defense for Western Michigan. Has not been successful tonight.
We haven't called the name of either one of the tight ends for Bowling Green. They're very high on both of them. Instead, it's back to the ground game, trucking defenders inside the 30 and down to the 29 is Patterson using that 220-pound frame. Delano Ware was on the receiving end after a gain of 8.
You get a pulling guard here, a bit of a trap play, and Andre Carter tries to play around the pulling guard. So he tries to beat it upfield, and they're able to sneak that run right back under.
Now a third down situation, third and about a yard. Patterson, the lone back behind McDonald. Gets the carry and will push the pile ahead at 25. Ball came out late. Ball came out late. We'll see what the call is on the field at the 25. And they will say Western Michigan has it. They do. That's lovely on the recovery.
Boy, I tell you, a heck of a job by Kanai Lovely. 18 for this Western Michigan defense. There he is. Watch him just rip that football out. It's difficult to see from that angle if the knee was down before that ball came loose. And then he goes and grabs the football as well. Excellent play.
Where is that right knee is the question. Oh, that's out.
What a play.
Great view.
It's a great run. You put your head down, full head of steam. Jason Patterson understands the down and distance. Does a nice job being physical as a runner. Have to protect that football. Great job getting it out.
Broncos came in on the wrong end of turnover margin, -3, but they pick up what becomes the play of the game thus far, taking away a scoring opportunity for the Falcons. All kinds of time, deep ball throw down the middle and double coverage, and it's picked off. Picked off by Chris Bacon. Bacon racing down the sideline, past the 30, and blown up at the 24-yard line. First interception of the year for the former Georgia State Panther, Chris Bacon.
I just don't know what Trayson Bourguet saw on this play. You got cover 2, safety over the top has help. And look at Bacon just attack the football. It's an excellent job high pointing it. And Chris Bacon brings it back home for Bowling Green.
Corey Crooms had no chance of making that reception.
And this, to me, Mike, this is just one that Trayson Bourguet decided he was going to throw pre-snap.
Yep.
He wanted to take the shot, felt comfortable for whatever reason, and the defense did not give him that look.
So back-to-back turnovers. Now McDonald sets up a little screen pass, caught at the 25 and immediately lassoed down. I mentioned they've got 2 talented tight ends. That's one of them. Christian Sims on the grab, one of the top tight ends in the MAC.
I tell you, that's a nice play by Walter Air, 56, the 6'3", 275-pound defensive end. They caught him on a stunt. This was going to be a nice play. Excellent job pulling that pass rush upfield, but the inside stunt from Air brings him right back to the football.
Give him a yard, setting up a 2nd down and 9. Split twin formation. From the pocket, McDonald steps up, missiles one, complete at the 20, and forward progress stopped at about the 19-yard line. That's the first grab for
the first quarter.
Garner on the tackle, and that might be the final play of quarter number 1. No score, but the Falcons of Bowling Green are threatening. Well, Bowling Green trying to have a turnaround season. Those are the 2 guys that are going to lead the way. Head coach Scott Leffler and quarterback Matt McDonald is already 8 for 8 tonight. Coach Leffler telling us when he lured Matt McDonald to come to Bowling Green, he said, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a rebuild. Like, you're going to have a rough couple of years, and he has, but the payoff will be your senior year. That is this season. And again, a win tonight. They're tied for first in the MAC Eastern Division. Here's a 3rd down and 4. Quick throw, caught at the 10-yard line. A perfect 9 for 9 as that one is reeled in by the tight end, Christian Sims, his 2nd grab.
If the offensive line can hold up, this is where Bowling Green can win this football game, because Matt McDonald can dice you apart. I mean, he can pick it apart. He has the accuracy on the intermediate throws to be able to do it. He has the anticipation. Being in this offense for, 7-8 years now, he understands where to get the ball and when to get the ball there.
Over 5,000 career yards, 31 career touchdown passes. A first down and goal, empty backfield. Missiles one in the flat, caught at the 10, and quickly down to the 9-yard line is Hilaire.
It's a pretty nice job by Dorian Jackson there, coming up playing that screen. Use your leverage. You understand where the sideline is. Force the receiver back in the field to where your defensive teammates can come over and help. Don't give up the big play. But still, sticking with those intermediate throws, those quick throws, where Matt McDonald can make it go for this Bowling Green offense.
He's been surgical, 10 for 10. Bowling Green.
Massive matchup up top. 6-7 at the top of your screen. Watch that here in the red zone.
And penalty flags pre-snap.
I mean, Mike, if that holds up, we have 6-7 versus 5-10 up top here in the red zone.
Ball start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's on Jalen Grant, the left guard. When we talked to the coaching staff about Tyrone Broden, they believe he can be a Sunday guy. All 6'7" of him, junior out of Detroit. When he came to campus, he was a beanpole. Had to put on some weight. He's put on 40 pounds. He's still pretty lean. Where do we have him lined up here? Now he's at the bottom of your screen. Play action, rolling out. Toss complete at the 10 and spun down to the 6-yard line. That's the other tight end that they're very excited about. Harold Fannin, a 6'4" freshman out of Canton, Ohio. They believe they got a steal in Fannin.
Harold Fannin is kind of your resurgence tight end. Your guy who can play the H. He can line up at a fullback spot. He can line up at Y. He can do a lot of different things. You can motion him. Young man gets the football in his hands. He can make a play. But once again, you saw the anticipation from quarterback Matt McDonald, just understanding, all right, we got pressure. Where does the ball go? Tight end out in the flat. Gets an accurate pass.
McDonald 11 for 11. This is third down and goal.
6-7 at the bottom of your screen.
McDonald looking there, firing one-on-one coverage, and perfectly played that time by the all-MAC defensive back Dorian Jackson. He was jousting with the 6'7" Broden and had it covered all the way.
I just don't know why you don't get more air under this throw. The trajectory of this football just doesn't make sense to me with a 6'7" wide receiver working on a 5'10" defensive back. Float that thing up to the back pylon and allow him to attack it.
That's what Broden was signaling too. Don't throw it to me chest high. Throw it above my head.
This guy's got a 42-inch vertical.
Yeah, at 6'7", yeah. Lawler on to attempt what amounts to about a chip shot here. 24 yards from the near hash. Snap and hold are true, and so too is the kick. So Lawler has now made 5 out of his last 6. And we've got points on the board here in Bowling Green. 3-0 Falcons.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
This is kind of contrary to everything you'd expect on a MACtion game. It's low scoring and it's warm. Yeah, there's a few sweatshirts out there, but trust me, folks, it is not that cold at all. Temperatures at kickoff were in the 60s. We're used to MAC games being very often below 30, below 20 degrees. I had a game at Akron a couple of years ago where the wind chill was 8 degrees. We're currently 58. There was a high of 69 today, sunshine. So everything contrary to what you know about MAC football, except it's fun. It's Wednesday night, the only game in town. Glad to be with you. Mike Morgan, Cole Kublik, Quint Kestic roaming the sidelines tonight. Bowling Green out to a 3-0 lead. Defense has dominated this football game so far as the Broncos field a short kickoff at the 9. An alley down the sideline, past the 30, and walloped out of bounds at the 42-yard line. That was the kicker, Mason Lawler, delivering the blow.
Okay, Mason. Kicker's all over the place.
He's 6'3", 220. That's a pretty big kicker.
Bowling Green defense had an excellent night tonight. Here you see just stuff in the middle. Tackle for loss. Nothing happening in between the tackles in the run game for Western Michigan. And then Chris bring home the bacon. Grabs that interception for Bowling Green. Ill-advised throw from Trayson Bourget. But not getting a lot of help from his teammates. Some of the easy stuff not working. Understandable that he would try to force one.
You got good field position here. We'll see if the Broncos can take advantage. A first down carry for Tyler. 4 possessions, 3 punts, and 1 pick. Just 33 total yards so far for the Broncos. And again, just the second career start for the freshman, Bourget.
All right, now you have a little stacked formation into the boundary. There you go. Quick throw. Get it out to him. Maybe let your playmaker make a play.
Breaks a couple of tackles, weaving his way. Corey Crooms, his 36th reception of the season. Goes for 6 yards. They'll go tempo on a 3rd down and 1.
It's like you got to go off tackle here. You have not been able to make a living inside. Try to get something out on the edge where at least you can bounce it, maybe have a second chance at a run to be successful.
Broncos 0 for 3 on 3rd down, and Bowling Green says, nope, we're going to think about this a little bit on the defensive side.
Thought about having 12 guys on the field if that ball would have been snapped.
12:04 to go, first half. Falcons 3, Broncos nothing. It's presented by Allstate. Of course, they came out last night. I would say, Cole, it shouldn't be a surprise. Tennessee's #1 with the quality of wins they have against LSU. And, of course, that thriller against Alabama as well. Ohio State, Georgia. It always gets murky when you get to 4, right? Clemson, Michigan, Alabama, TCU. What surprised you the most?
TCU being at 7. There's no excuse for TCU to be below Alabama. I would have TCU above Clemson as well. I think with what they've done the last 5 weeks of the season, I judge teams by what they've accomplished. And I think that's where you should be ranked, not by how somebody feels about them.
Can't say enough about the job Sonny Dykes has done with that TCU program. 3rd down and short, and it goes backwards.
Well, I'd say these defensive lines stuffing the line of scrimmage better than Polly Eyes does their breadsticks tonight.
Well, they brought in Hrabowski. He's like their battering ram quarterback. He couldn't get anything going. All right, let's see if they're for real on this 4th down and short. Bourguet back in there. They stack it up in the backfield, trying to get a rugby push. It's right near the marker. Can't get any closer.
How do you spot that?
I have no idea. Get the Cyclops machine out.
I just didn't feel like there was any push. Almost
Officials
no.
timeout.
It was a great job
For measurement.
at the point of attack by the middle of that Bowling Green defensive line. You saw those guys 4-point stances putting their face mask in the dirt.
Did you ever play rugby? This had a rugby feel to it.
No rugby for me. Look how low those defensive linemen are. You just get that shoulder pad in between an offensive lineman. Just try to get leverage. Don't allow any sort of a push. Any penetration wins on a play like this. And obviously, Bourguet trying to go up over the top.
No dice. Marked a couple inches shy. Now Western Michigan will turn it over on downs. Give Bowling Green's defense credit. You talked about the interior of that defensive line, and really the D-line as a whole. Brooks, Hawkins, Hare, they are stout.
They have been a wall so far this evening. If you're Scott Leffler and you've got a shot play, you've been waiting to dial one up. Now you got the momentum. This is where I might think about taking a shot with Matt McDonald.
McDonald 11 of 12 thus far. Most of the throws have been underneath. Might we see a deep ball here? Here comes the blitz. Steps up. Gets out of trouble. Throws over the middle. Complete. No, dropped. Dropped at the 41-yard line by the ordinarily reliable Christian Sims.
Nice job here from McDonald, just eluding the pressure. Good pocket presence. You see it coming from the right side. Well, B-gap opens up there. Pretty good throw on the run. You got to help your quarterback out there.
Sims averages nearly 4 grabs.
I mean, Sims a converted receiver. He's got to have that football.
Started off as a wideout, then he just kept putting on weight, put on 40 pounds. Young man out of Norcross, Georgia. That'll push him to a 2nd and 10. Big hole down the sideline. That is Jamal Johnson tiptoeing out of bounds near the marker, a gain of 8.
Really nice cut from Jamal Johnson about 2 steps after he receives the pitch. And you give credit, too, for Kevon Croom, 85, getting a nice little seal block out on the edge, on the perimeter, which allowed Johnson to make that cut back inside.
I'll tell you, for a game that's about 19 minutes in length, how many 3rd down and 4th down and shorts have we had? Seems like every possession there's a few.
Man, when defensive lines are winning, those aren't the ones you want to be in.
That's right. 3rd down, call it a short 2. Play action, penalty flag. McDonald, Coxon fires. Diving catch at the 29-yard line. Sims with some redemption there, but hold the phones. The flag all the way back at the line of scrimmage. would be a 19-yard gain if it stands.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 players were in motion and never got set when the ball was snapped. That's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That mistake's going to bring it back, Mike, but I'll say this. I like Scott Loeffler and Matt McDonald going right back to Christian Sims. You're one of our best targets. You're one of our most reliable targets. Had a bad drop and said, you know what, let's draw it up on 3rd down to go right back to 88. Nonetheless, the penalty negates it. Solid break there for Western Michigan.
74th penalty of the season for Bowling Green. That's the most in FBS. Now a 3rd down and 7. Motion man makes it, trips to the near side. On the move, it's McDonald. Goes underneath, caught at the 45. A leapfrog down to the 41-yard line. That's the other tight end, Harold Fannin. And that'll go for 8 yards, and that'll move the chains.
6'4", 230, and Fannin just so athletic. He gives you so many different ways that he can hurt a defense. And a nice little half roll from McDonald. Once again, the timing, the anticipation, just the understanding of where the route's going to be, how to get the ball out. He doesn't have to have a rocket throw. It doesn't have to be a perfect spiral. He just understands this offense.
Now in plus territory, back to the ground game, trying to get to the edge and completely contained and wrapped down for a loss. Keith had nowhere to go. Damari Roberson threw him to the ground, and it'll be a loss of 1.
Lou Esposito talked to us this week, the defensive coordinator for Western Michigan, how important it was to set the edge. You're trying to run this to the nub tight end side. A lot of times defensive players can get lost down inside. That means a tight end to the boundary or to the sideline with no other offensive players in between.
Pass backwards, looks like a double pass. That's what they're setting up. It's C.J. Lewis. Can't find anybody. He's going to tuck it and run and dives back to the 44-yard line, but that'll be a loss on the play. Lovely on the tackle.
Oh, Mike, Harold Fannin's not even looking back for the football. I don't know if there's some miscommunication somewhere else with somebody trying to go. He looks back initially. Look, Fannin's going down to block almost, it looks like. There's just nobody home. Throw that football away. Live to fight another day.
Fannin never turned his head. This drive has been all over the place. 5 plays, 9 yards. Now a 3rd and 12. Here comes the blitz. And the pressure coming in, knocked away. Arm was going forward, or was it? Broncos pounce on it. Tyson Lee actually hit the ball loose, but was it going forward or not? Either way, it's bad news for Bowling Green.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by Western Michigan. 1st and 10, Western Michigan.
I think there's a chance, and it looked like 58, Tyson Lee may have punched that football out just a little bit before the throwing motion began.
Now, as it were, we got a nice chat with the replay official, Jay Lyons, before the game tonight. Came in, talked about some of the things that have caused a little controversy this year. Your typical array of targeting. Disconcertion by defensive linemen, Cole. You know what that's all about, right? Where they clap and try to screw you guys up on the O-line. That's been called a lot.
Yeah, you can't clap if you're a linebacker. Cannot simulate that snap count.
They did take another look at it. The call will stand.
It's a nice play by Tyson Lee. He just barely pushed that ball out right before the throwing motion began.
Oh, another turnover and a huge hole, and firing through it all the way to the 40-yard line is Sean Tyler. If they could just get number 9 and White going, Western Michigan's offense will get a boost that they sorely need right now.
If you're going to get it going, you have to stay committed to it, and rolling that inside zone off the backside of the table of what we were talking about. Could they get it going? Here's another cutback run.
19 yards on the first one. A couple more here with a penalty flag dropped at around the 41-yard line, and then a late hit One of the offensive linemen looked like Addison West.
It's a heck of a sale by Addison West. Now, you see a lot of these guys, the 300-pounders, when they get pushed, and 2 seconds later, they kind of, they pull the Fred Sanford, and they kind of fall down like they're having a heart attack.
Offense number 75, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It doesn't work when you're the one that actually is penalized for Addison West. So I'll give him credit. He took a shove and has the wherewithal. As soon as he takes the shove, to just go straight back to the ground. I mean, Vince McMahon would have been proud of that one, but I took a nice bump, but nonetheless.
So you get called for the hold. You know you're guilty. You figured, okay, maybe I can redeem myself and draw a personal foul.
It was a nice sell, but obviously the hold preceded it and not going to get credit.
Both these teams, every time something good happens, they shoot themselves in the foot to go backwards. Now it's a 1st and 20 from midfield. Coxon fires, complete at the 45, and lunging toward the 44-yard line is Corey Crooms, the junior, out of Country Club Hills, Illinois.
It's a nice read for Trayson Bourget here. You had trips to the right side, wide side of the field, and you had the understanding with the pressure coming there, or at least showing pressure, you can spit that ball out quickly and got a good chance to get a run after the catch. So he's looking to the sidelines, so probably getting that from the coaching staff, but still a nice understanding to get the ball out there with an accurate pass.
He's got a great coach to learn from in Tim Lester. Threw for over 11,000 yards in his illustrious career, one of 17 head coaches leading their alma mater. On second down, 4-man rush, heavy pressure, deep shot, down the middle, contact, but no flag. He was trying to hit the tight end. First time we've called Blake Bosma's name, but he was draped by DJ Taylor.
20 catches on the season for Bosma, Q.
Quint, what do you have?
Bourget with the overthrow. You know, I had a chance to talk to Trayson pregame. Really mature for an 18-year-old. Strong and built. He's from Tucson, Arizona. It's not every day you see Arizona players in the MAC. 1,900 miles away. I joked about the weather. I said, you brought the great weather. He has no idea what's in store when he goes to Central in a couple weeks. This is a young man who's never had a winter, and this is his first fall. First time he sees foliage.
Dumps it off. And a nice job weaving his way inside the 35-yard line by Sean Tyler. Yeah, how about this, Quint Cole? We got Bourget, an Arizona kid, and on the other side, we've got a California kid and Matt McDonald playing quarterback. So 2 West Coast QBs playing in the MAC.
In the back. Offense number 63, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's on Jack Sherwin, the right tackle.
Just think about some of those MAC quarterbacks from California. You go home for a break in the winter. You got to get on that plane and come back. It's 30s, wind, sleet, hail.
Well, if you get to the league, which all these young men dream of doing, you're going to play in some cold weather spots. Play a couple games in Buffalo and Cleveland.
Yeah, the ball gets slick in November. Midweek action games can be, 20 degrees. The ball will be slick. It'll be interesting to see how Bourget handles it. Completely new, hot pockets. See what he has to wear. It'll be a whole new experience for the freshman.
Let's see what he comes up with on a 3rd and 24. They'll play it conservative. Off left tackle and bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Great open field tackle by Jordan Anderson. He's the savvy veteran, the calming influence from the free safety spot. Makes a beautiful play. Now, neither offense can get much going, even with the help of some turnovers and good field position in this game. Mahalik on to punt. The dangerous Jake Rogers, one of the top return men in the country this year, back to receive it. Heavy rush, just getting it off, and gets off a beauty. High spiraling kick that'll bounce right at the goal line, and it will be a touchback. As we get another look at the Broncos defense and Bowling Green's offense. 3-0 our score.
Guns, Sunday on ESPN.
That is hockey.
If you're a defensive coordinator, this is your kind of game, your kind of score. 3-0, Bowling Green on top. That is Lou Esposito, the very animated and entertaining defensive coordinator for the Broncos of Western Michigan. Played his college ball at Memphis. Was actually in the Arena 2 League and they decided, hey, Coach Lester, you want to coach? Want to be with us here? He's like, yeah, heck yeah. And he is a spark plug. Players love him. Players respond to him. They've had so far tonight as Bowling Green gets nothing going on that play to Hilaire. Lovely on another tackle. And again, you and I have covered a lot of Joe Lee Dunn over the years, the SEC. Cole, that's some of his pedigree.
You can see the footprint in which he utilizes it. He played his college football at Memphis, played for Rick Trickett at Memphis, offensive line coach. I played for him at Auburn, so he had a rough go of it as a college football player, but going against Joe Lee Dunn's defense played off, and he still uses some of the looks that he had at that point in time in his career. He's the first coach in the history of Davenport University. And amazing, like you talked about, the Arena League. Head coach Tim Lester was his roommate.
Yeah.
Got out of the Arena League and said, "Want to be D coordinator?" And never coached defense, never played defense.
That's right. That's right. And that's the A2 league where you're happy if the check clears for a couple of hundred per game.
He told me about some of those rough environments at the Von Braun Civic Center, playing against the Tennessee Valley Vipers and Tom Luganville.
That's Kroom on the reception. Couple of flags on the play. Might be looking at a face mask here.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 25. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
When you get an aggressive defense, sometimes you can be a little bit too aggressive. Nice little under juke by Kroom, and then obviously gets the face mask there. But we talked to Coach Lester about that relationship with Coach Esposito, and just when they talked about how they met, then professionally how they started working together, how they're still together. Essentially, that's football, man. Like, that's what it is. That's how you develop those relationships. That's how you meet people. Lifelong friendships come from that. And you get a guy like Coach Esposito who's running this defense. Lou, just a lot of fun. A cool guy to visit with. There's no surprise that his guys love playing for him.
And I'll tell you how you develop camaraderie with your guys. You cook for them. You get the beef. We talked about how great the weather has been around here. Same thing back at Western Michigan, where he cooked up the green egg and had all kinds of meat ready to go for his guys on second down. And that's just a rare miss for McDonald. Christian Sims was open, but he threw it to the ground.
Yeah, so Coach Espo had the whole D-line and the linebackers over. His mom was in town. She made some mac and cheese. His sister brought some sausage from New Jersey, but the barbecue with the green egg was the hit. He said he smoked chicken drumsticks that went over really well with the big boys.
Defense will try to get cooking here. 3rd down and 4. Empty backfield for McDonald. 3-man rush. McDonald escapes the pocket and will run for the first down, barging into plus territory and down to the 47-yard line. A scamper of 8 yards. Garner gets credit for the tackle.
Just such a smart play from Matt McDonald. It's one thing that I love about quarterbacks is being decisive, having an understanding of just when to tuck the ball and leave the pocket. Understand either the pass rush is getting to you, the protection's breaking down, or you see that seam open up, tuck it, go get first down yardage.
On a first down run down the far sideline inside the 20 and shoved out of bounds inside the 15. Teron Keith with his best run of the night. Delano Ware pushed him out of bounds after a 32-yard gain.
We got a bench escort alert. 77, Jalen Grant on the power play. Now you see the 2 linemen pulling out. Watch 77. I'm going to latch on. I will take you to the bench area, sir. Look at big 55 down there, too. Jakari Robinson. Jakari Robinson is a 4.95, 40-yard dash offensive lineman, and he showed it to you on that play.
On first down, keep it on the ground. This time, trying the right side. Not this time, though. Stacked up. That'll be a loss on the play. Damari Roberson on the stop. That'll be a loss of 2 or 3 yards.
We've talked about the experience of Matt McDonald in this Bowling Green offense. How about center Jakari Robinson? A guy that was a state champion shot putter at Mumford High School for Bill Smith, his head coach, and his wife. Came up to his wedding last July to his beautiful bride, Gabrielle. Very mature, played some really good football at Cincinnati for a couple of years, and Well, I tell you, Scott Leffler got a gem in Jakari Robinson to be in the middle of this offensive line.
Yeah, Cincinnati, then Memphis, now Bowling Green. McDonald continues to be precise overall. Now 15 of 18, goes back to the tight end, Christian Sims. They love their tight ends. That's really the strength of their receiving core, particularly with Sims and Fannin.
They give you so many different advantages with what you can do from a formation standpoint as well. Force the defense's hands on alignment, really steal yards a lot of times, and then help you out in protection, get out and catch the football as well.
They're getting near that point of the field. They go to the 6'7" Broden. He's in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Pass caught instead underneath at the 10. That's Hilaire. That's going to be well shy of the first down. It'll set up a 4th down and 5.
I tell you, this pass rush from Western Michigan is close.
Western Michigan.
Give Matt McDonald credit, hanging in the pocket, having an understanding routes going to open up. But he took a big hit on that last play. Had a free runner right at him.
A timeout on the field. You know Scott Leffler would love to try to cash in here, but on 4th down, maybe they play it conservatively. We'll find out when we come back. Minute 49 to go. Falcons up 3 and knocking on the door.
Zubin Mehenti in our college football studios coming up at the half. We've had a day to digest the playoff rankings. We'll break those down. Trevor will break down Stetson Bennett and the one key advantage Alabama might have Saturday night on ESPN against LSU. Guys, we'll see you at the half.
Zubin looking forward to it. Looking forward to a tremendous weekend of college football. Those two games in the SEC are going to determine a lot. 24, make it a 28-yard field goal attempt for Lawler. He connected on the 24-yard attempt earlier. And we'll connect here. So 2 for 2 for Mason Lawler, who's now a 8 for 10 on the season. It's a 6-0 game. And we were talking over the break, Cole, ordinarily you might think about going for it, but the way these offenses have struggled, not so much. Hey, Bryce Young and number 6, Alabama. These are two offenses that have not been struggling. Alabama and LSU. You got Alabama with the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. You got Jaden Daniels just balling right now for LSU. And you got a huge SEC West matchup. Could determine who goes to Atlanta for the SEC Championship game. Coverage beginning Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
One other part of this game nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
Where LSU is in the SEC West standings. A lot of folks throwing out that, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, all being a one-loss team. You realize LSU wins that game Saturday night. Yeah. They are in the lead in the SEC West because they have a win against Alabama and Ole Miss.
Think of all the criticism that Brian Kelly took after the Florida State loss. Brian Kelly can coach, folks. I have a feeling he's going to get LSU back to the promised land before long, and you bring up a great point. They win that game. They very well could be in Atlanta for the SEC Championship game. We've had a chance to see the rankings come out, the top 6. All right, here's where we are right now. And this is all subject to change, folks, right? We're going to see 2 top 10 matchups over the weekend. We all have Tennessee 1. We've all got Georgia and Michigan in the top 4. Cole, you have no Ohio State in the top 4.
I just have TCU in the top 4. I think Michigan is a team that plays a little bit better on defense. I think they're more balanced offensively. I'll give them credit for that. But the schedule that TCU has played, what they have accomplished against their opponents, you have to give them credit for. Mike, if we don't credit teams for who they've defeated, why are we playing the games?
Right.
What's the point?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. We're just going to go out and play 7-on-7. Go out and say, you put up a bunch of points, so you should be ranked in the top 4. I'm sorry, I'm not there on Clemson just yet. I've seen too many holes in that football team. I know they're undefeated, but for me, TCU deserves to be in the top 4 right now.
Deep ball over the middle and just out of the outstretched hands of the tight end, Bosma.
I think the good news is it doesn't matter for anybody because a lot of those teams are going to play each other, and we got a lot more football left and a lot of great games coming up.
I mean, that's the thing. The only controversy at the end of the year that ever seems to happen is for the number 4 slot. 1 for 3 are almost automatics. It always kind of works itself out in that regard. I will say this. It's 13 humans in that room. It's not computers. It's not the old BCS days. And some brand recognition definitely seems to play a part. I don't think there's any debate about that.
Well, it's like Greg McElroy said on our radio show this morning. If we're just going to go by how many pros or potential pros you have on your team. Once again, why do we need to play the game?
Right.
Let's just judge them by recruiting rankings. Let's go ahead and fill out a playoff bracket and let's let it rip. I mean, we want to see good games, competitive games. You want to see how teams handle situations. I like a complete football team. And just because TCU was down, I don't think makes them less of a team. As a matter of fact, being able to come back shows me that you have a little bit something else about you on your football team. I don't know how Ohio State operates down 14. I don't know how Michigan operates down 14. No, there's two ways to look at that. I understand it. You could say, well, they're so dominant, they're not going to be in that spot. Well, who have you played to prove to me that you're that dominant? TCU just went 5 straight weeks playing a ranked opponent.
And a very deep Big 12, I might add. 3rd and long, quarterback scamper, and lunging to the 39. He might have it. A great effort by Bourguet. Trent Sims tackled him, but not before he got the first down, moved the chains. And a timeout called
Bowling Green.
by Bowling
30
Green.
seconds.
Western Michigan, meanwhile, has 2 timeouts in their back pocket. 1:06 to go, down 6-0. A good time to put together some kind of drive. They've only got, the Broncos, 3 first downs this entire half. By the way, Bowling Green's defense led by Eric Lewis. And Eric Lewis is the son of Sherm Lewis, the longtime offensive coordinator with the Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers. We had a great conversation with Eric Lewis. He's impressive. He's orchestrating a defense that's 2nd in the country with 32 sacks. And when we asked him about that, he said most of those have come in base. They haven't even come on blitzes. He's just getting a lot of sacks, in part because their coverage in that secondary has been strong. On first down, pocket collapsing, and down goes Bourguet. Speaking of sacks, there's another one for the Falcons.
Being able to win with 4 is so valuable in so many different ways. Carl Brooks, obviously a defensive end that we talked about towards the top of the broadcast. This is not even a simulated pressure. You get a little bit of a twist down at the bottom of your screen. But there you see the inside move from Carl Brooks. Buys a little bit of time.
And that's the 33rd sack of the year, so that puts him up to number 1 in all of FBS college football.
And Eric Lewis doing it without their best defensive back, maybe their best player, one of the best players in this conference, Davon Ferguson, who's out in the secondary. A corner who does have a future in the NFL. He's been banged up last year and this year, but think about what they've done up front, how they're winning games.
Would be the final play of the half, and they'll play it conservative on the ground. Good looking run, and brought down with 1 second, 0 seconds left. Anderson on the tackle of Tyler, and that is how a low-scoring defensive struggle comes to a close. Falcons will get it first in the second half. They lead at 6-0 as we send you now to Zubin Mehenti and Trevor Matich in the studio for the halftime report.
Guys, thank you very much as we welcome you inside the halftime report. It's another night of action. We'll get to some of the highlights here in a second. But first, low-scoring first half. What are you seeing?
Well, what I'm seeing is it looks like Bowling Green is trying to break out, but they can't. Western Michigan, not so much of a downfield offense. Bowling Green has a better chance to make big plays, and it just feels like in the second half something's going to give.
All right, we'll see what happens when the second half commences. Over on ESPNU, we've got another game from the MAC. This is actually a battle of last place squad. Central Michigan, Northern Illinois. There's Coach Mack ready to go. 7-0 Chippewas. Daniel Richardson, Joel Wilson. 14-0 Central Michigan.
And this building lead is a problem for Northern Illinois. That's just a fantastic play, but Northern Illinois doesn't have the offense to match it.
You saw Wilson there being helped off the field. Hoping everything's all right there. Nice adjustment by Tyson Davis. It's 21-0. They're a minute and a half away from the half. That's over on the U. We'll keep you up to date on the way. Saturday, the biggest.
Kublik. A lot of fun, despite the fact we didn't have a lot of scoring, Cole. We can appreciate good defense, and we saw plenty of it in that first half.
Plenty of it. We're proving that the MAC can also be a line of scrimmage league. So we're throwing out the all-22. We're going with the tight copy here in the second half. We're going to focus in on the line of scrimmage, and I think that's what's going to win this football game.
Plenty of line of scrimmage dominated on the defensive side for both these teams. As we take a look at tonight's game track, brought to you by Fisher Investments. Neither team was really able to get much going in it. And then when they did, Cole, it seems like the team hits a big play, boom, a turnover or a mistake.
Penalties obviously hurt these two teams, and especially down in the red zone, just not able to convert for touchdowns. Both squads had a couple of opportunities to put points on the board and just could not capitalize.
No, Bowling Green will get it first here in this second half. Again, that is the offense that has been hotter. That is the offense overall this season that has been led by the veteran quarterback and Matt McDonald. Return from the goal line and weaving his way past the 20 down the sideline 30. Back inside the numbers at the 40. Nifty move by Keith into press territory past the 40. Down the 30. Ankle tackle at the 16-yard line. A brilliant return by Teron Keith, who came into the season with 15 returns along of 43. That's a new long of 84 yards.
Boy, a couple of massive blocks on this play, but two by 26 and 24. Davion Daniels and Braxton Todd. Before the cutback inside by Tavion Keith, just running on fumes around the 20.
That becomes easily the biggest play of this game. We'll see if Bowling Green can capitalize. Patterson the back, McDonald out of the shotgun. It's Patterson firing through the hole straight up the gut and gobbles up 6-7 yards. Tackled by Marshawn Nealon. Now here we go, an offensive game that didn't have a ton of spark in the first half. You get the big special teams play, and maybe we get our first touchdown of the night. On second down, probing the left side, and a nice tackle. Patterson brought down quickly near the line of scrimmage. That's Corbin Moment, the all-MAC linebacker who's the reigning Western Division Player of the Week on defense.
Well, I tell you don't get many offensive linemen that are over near the student section talking to trash to the crowd, but Jakari Robinson pulling outside on this play, takes his defender into the end zone and decides, I'll just finish up and go say hello to a few of the fans.
Now here's this situation that's been the Achilles heel for both teams. Third and short, third and a yard to be exact. Handoff to the up back. Second effort past the 5 and into the end zone. A touchdown. And that is the tight end, Harold Fannin, on the score from 8 yards out. His first rushing touchdown of his career. Now Scott Leffler goes deep into the playbook. Goes to his freshman tight end on a carry for a score. Lawler on for the extra point. He's got 2 field goals, and he has an extra point to his credit. It all got set up by the big kickoff return.
One thing you've noticed about both of these football teams, their best players are on their kick return teams. Teron Keith gets them into the red zone, and Bowling Green takes advantage by motioning Harold Fannin to fullback.
PN.
That is hockey.
Falcons on top 13-0. We finally got ourselves a touchdown, Cole, and it took a little 14 personnel to get it going.
You got to love it. 4 tight ends on the field for Bowling Green. Scott Leffler showing you motion again and just how it can work as the 4th tight end actually goes into the backfield as a fullback. There's a lot of college football teams don't have 4 tight ends on their roster. Bowling Green playing 4 at one time. Belly to Harold Fannin. He bounces it outside, shows the athleticism and versatility to take it in for the score.
It's only fitting, as I mentioned earlier, the coaching staff told us a number of times they love their tight ends, not just 1 or 2. They love all 4 of them. All 4 involved on the touchdown play. Broncos would like to get a good drive going here. Now down 2 scores, and the return will be taken out to the 28-yard line by Sean Tyler. So where do you turn now if you're Western Michigan? I'll tell you who might have that answer and some more. Let's send it down to Quinn.
We need to clean up the RPOs. Got to clean up the RPOs, said Coach Tim Lester. He said Bowling Green is loading the box for the most part, and his young quarterback, the freshman, has got to start making better decisions. If it's a loaded box, pull it and throw it. If it's a light box, give it. He also, with a certain tension to his voice, he said, "This is like a 1970s football game. We have 25 plays at halftime."
Yeah, it did feel a little like ground and pound 1975-ish. And Western Michigan only had 91 yards in that first half. Really struggled on third down, just 2 conversions. And yeah, for Tim Lester, a guy, again, threw for over 11,000 yards. One of the all-time greats in MAC history. This has been a little bit frustrating for him. But again, a freshman quarterback, you're trying some new things out, and you're going up against a Bowling Green team that has picked up a lot of momentum here of late. On 2nd and 5, handoff. And lowering the shoulder and pounding ahead to the 37-yard line. That's Salam colliding with DJ Taylor on the stop.
DJ Taylor has been about as north-south as a linebacker can be in this football game. You talk about seeing the football and attacking vertically. He's done it all night. Short yardage situations, out on the perimeter like that. A really nice game so far.
Bourget out of the gun on first down. Again, a first down carry, and it goes backwards. Terrific pursuit by the left side of that defensive line for the Falcons. Anthony Hawkins, number 54, and Walter Hare in on the stop, 56.
Now, his coaching staff will tell you that 56 brings the juice. He's their emotional leader at practice every day in games and plays like that. You don't even have to utilize your emotions, because you see a lot of it from Walter Hare after the play. Nice little slant inside run stance, trying to roll plays to the back to the outside. Walter Hare redirects and makes a play himself.
Eric Lewis fired up, another tackle for loss for this Bowling Green defense that leads the country in sacks. That play will go very little into making up for the lost yardage. It's Galway, the former Boston College Eagle, on the grab, but met quickly by Deshaun Jones.
Eric Lewis now, the defensive coordinator for Bowling Green, doing a nice job sort of toying with Trayson Bourget here. We see him look to the sideline. He gets a play. Then there's an added defender that comes up and shows pressure. That could be a simulated pressure. That could be a direct pressure. But when Trayson Bourget looks back at that defense from looking over, a lot of times it's different than the first time. See if there's another adjustment here. Zero in the slot has been rolling down after this. Going to stay home now.
Got to start converting on some of these third downs. 3rd and 8. With time, throw is on target, and a nice job of getting the ball past the sticks. Jelani Galloway with first down yardage.
And so many receivers will break this route off a little bit too quickly, not have an understanding of where first down yardage is, or just break it off too soon and the ball's not going to be on time. Nice job utilizing leverage right to the sticks and then whoop, get back upfield.
Quick snap and a first down carry. Ball is loose. Ball is loose, and it looks like the Broncos got it back. Carl Brooks was in on the action, as he normally is, number 11 for Bowling Green, and I believe Sambucci recovered it.
There you see Brooks just go get it, attack the football. What a job. Taking that little running back to the ground, has the wherewithal to get the extra hand in, trying to strip it out.
Carl Brooks is an incredible athlete. 6'4", 300. He put on 60 pounds since he arrived. Was a former wide receiver in high school and still says he could play that position. Flag back in the backfield on this one will likely send it back.
Well, you think about the athleticism at 6'4", 300 pounds. He was a high hurdler in high school.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the difference between a high hurdler and a low hurdler, but
I think you'd rather be the high hurdler.
That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run.
The low hurdler doesn't win many medals.
Either way, you're his size and you're hurdling things at a fast rate, so it's impressive nonetheless, but gives you an idea of a developmental player in this league that came in, had big-time athleticism, but didn't have the frame, didn't have the body to go play in the Power 5, and look what he's blossomed into. He's going to get drafted early.
Quint, what do you have?
Well, the stars in this league usually don't fit the prototype. Brooks is a guy who, as you mentioned, put on the weight. Typically, they're an inch too short, too skinny, maybe played the wrong position in high school. But with development in this league, they do become potential pros.
Yeah, he is another guy that could be a Sunday guy. We've got a couple players in this game that could be Sunday guys. There's 64 MAC players, MAC alums, currently in the National Football League. And you think of some of the all-time greats from Ben Roethlisberger, James Harrison, Antonio Gates, Jack Lambert. Remember when Randy Moss played at Marshall? They were actually in the MAC. A lot of great athletes have come out of this conference over the years. On a 2nd down and 9. Good-looking drive thus far. This will be the 9th play of the drive for the Broncos. Bourguet with Tyler behind him. Feeds him. Tyler finds a crease. Lost the football! And it is still down on the ground. Players crawling for it at the 20. And the Falcons recover. Oh, my goodness. Darren Anders, the all-MAC linebacker, finally pounced on it. The ball was rolling on the ground for what seemed like an eternity.
I'd love to tell you that the ball is slick or the weather's causing this. I think this is just the Bowling Green defense having great awareness as to attack the football and try to get it out. Another one loose. This time, they bring it back to their sideline. All right, let's take a look at how this play developed. 2 interior defensive linemen, you're going to get a run twist. So D-tackle to the left is going to come flat across to the right. D-tackle to the right is going to loop back around. That causes confusion with the middle 3 offensive linemen, and it's going to allow Darren Anders to run free to this football play. So nobody's even attempting to climb up and block him. Backside tackle is. He's never getting there. And watch Anders. Free run at the ball carrier. Get that ball out. And then the best part is he sticks with the play. Little celebration. I'll go find it. I'll hunt it down. Ball squiggling all over the place. Anders gets it back. What an individual effort, but it's what happened up front. The commotion caused by those interior defensive linemen that allowed him to run free and make that play.
And a heck of a hustle by Anders, who not only do you force it, but then 5, 6, 7 seconds later, you actually recover it again. He was first-team All-MAC a year ago, led the conference with 124 tackles. So a huge opportunity goes to the wayside for Western Michigan. Bowling Green now up 13 with the football. 8.5 to go in quarter number 3.
One of those weird Western Michigan fronts of just one defender with his hand on the ground.
Fake the jet sweep. McDonald just stumbles back to the original line of scrimmage. I don't know if that was by design or somebody missed a signal somewhere.
Either way, you're fine with him just eating it right there. You want to run a little bit of clock, 2-score game. Don't try to get too cute. Don't try to make something wild happen here when you're in control of this football game. It's a veteran play.
Now a 3rd down and 9. If the Bronco defense can stiffen up here. McDonald, pressure in the pocket, steps up, throws over the middle, complete, no, dropped at the 35 by Hilaire, your top wide receiver. Throw was right on target, could not reel it in.
Odu Hilaire is a big play waiting to happen. You'll see not a lot of pressure, didn't really have to get out of the pocket, dents the pocket a little bit there by Brandon Fisk. McDonald puts a nice throw on him. Help your quarterback out. Oh, got to have that ball.
Do you want to remind everybody that there's no condensation, dry football, no wind, at least not much of it here tonight?
We're not even below 55.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as optimal weather condition as you're going to have on a November MAC game. Angle punt toward the near sideline and a bounce at the 45. It'll be a good one for the Falcons all the way to the 35-yard line where the Broncos would take over. 7:22 to play in the 3rd quarter. Bowling Green on top, 13-0. Bryce Young, number 6 Alabama, squaring off against Jaden Daniels, and number 10 LSU. It'll be a huge SEC Western Division matchup. That'll be Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN, the ESPN app. Again, the Crimson Tide have won 10 out of the last 11, and already with 1 loss. Gotta have it if you're Nick Saban and the Tide. Mike Morgan, Cole Kublik, Quint Kesnick Glad to be part of Maction here on a Wednesday night in Bowling Green, Ohio. Hope you're well. 13-0 thus far. Western Michigan had a great drive. Turned it over for the second time on the last drive. This is a beautiful pass and catch to Corey Crooms. That's the best looking throw and grab tonight for the Broncos offense.
I think that ball came out late. I think as he was going out of bounds, that ball actually pops out.
And you're right, it's incomplete. So he had it. Must have lost it late. This is the opposite side of the field from where we're at. Oh, yeah. That's not in there even long enough to consider. On second down. That one was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Penalty flag. Now 2 flags thrown. One at the line of scrimmage. One all the way near midfield.
Jordan Anderson, I think, tipped that ball. Jordan Anderson tipped the previous pass as well. Pretty good job in coverage, and he was the extra defender that was added late. So Trayson Bourguet looks over, and then Eric Lewis going to add a defender to the box, try to throw him off. RPO comes up. He thinks he's going to have it. Extra defenders there, taking up the space.
The fact that the ball was
tipped. There is no foul for defensive pass interference.
Yeah.
The ball was tipped by a defender before the contact occurred. It's an incomplete pass. Third down.
Stole the words right out of my mouth that Jeremy Valentine takes away the PI.
Once again, this chess match of adding defenders, subtracting defenders. Bourguet thinks he's going to have a wide open route. And that actually may have been Carl Brooks goes up and gets that ball from his defensive end spot. A nice job understanding that, hey, if I'm going to be right here in space, let's remove a passing lane in the RPO game. Gets the hands up and deflects that pass. Brooks been all over the place tonight.
Bourguet just 6 of 12, 36 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. And a 3rd and 10 right here. Q, what do you have?
Well, not on this play, Cole, but I want to know why, Western's an RPO-based offense.
Apologies for
Where's the quarterback run element? Where do you make...
On the offense, number 77, Bowling Green will decline that penalty. Still brings up 3rd down.
How can Western make the defense guard all 11 men? This RPO... It really works well if the quarterback can be a threat every now and then.
Yeah, first thing you have to do is present it, right? You have to get the presentation of it and at least let them know, be aware of it, and they haven't done that yet. I mean, Western Michigan hadn't given us a quarterback run, and they'll read it backside sometimes. Don't have to do it the traditional way, but still haven't even offered it up.
Pocket crumbles. Bourguet takes off and runs, and there he shows off some of the running ability. Takes it out to the 49. A 14-yard pickup and a first down.
Not so much by design, but a quarterback scramble can also be effective, and a nice job feeling that pressure early. Trayson Bourguet understands. Hey, tuck and run. Try to pick up first down yardage. Good push initially from the Bowling Green defense. Well, I'd tell you what, Walter Ayre, that is a bull rush. Nonetheless, excellent job by Trayson Bourguet pulling it down and getting first down yardage. All right, so watch these defenders, see if he might have added late.
Bourguet, the freshman, hands it off on first down and runs right into a bear hug from Carl Brooks. Carl Brooks, number 11, has been all over, especially in the backfield tonight.
This is what's happening right now from Eric Lewis. This started back in the mid-2010s when guys like Nick Marshall were running zone read offenses, and Jeff Collins, defensive coordinators, would come up and say, okay, we're just going to add an extra defender. We'll slant our defensive end down, and you'll block the wrong person, or you'll account for the wrong person on the read. Eric Lewis having a lot of effectiveness with it tonight.
Brooks, the classic case of a Group 5 player that's overlooked in recruiting. Again, he put on a ton of weight once he got to campus. Different looking player, different looking athlete now. After putting on 60 pounds from high school in his hometown of Lansing, Michigan.
Boy, that's one Sean Taylor's going to see and want back. I mean, you allowed Deshaun Jones from his corner spot to just come up and basically fall down in front of you in the hole and had a lot of green to be able to pick up big yardage there.
The coaching staff told us we've got to get Sean Tyler in space, but rarely has he gotten the ball in space tonight.
Problem is Bowling Green's winning with 4 up front, so they have those defenders already out in space. Where are you going to create the space here with this look?
Passing situation here on 3rd and 8. Pocket holds up. Bourguet going to tuck it and run anyway. And we'll take it to the 46. He might have been better served being a little more patient on that when he had some time. J.B. Brown gets the tackle.
Tough for a quarterback to sit there and wait when the time hasn't been there all day. You have to understand that. And it's odd because Bourguet last week Tim Lester told us he went to the right place about 95% of the time last week. Had a really nice game from a decision-making standpoint, but he did not see a defense that was altering the looks the way Eric Lewis is tonight.
4th and 5, you like the decision?
I think you almost have to at this point with the way your offense has been operating.
In plus territory. Broncos 9 for 18 on 4th down this year. 4.5 to go, third quarter. 4-man rush. Missiles one. Caught right at the sticks, and that should be a first down with the spot. Boy, do the Broncos ever need that. The freshman Nate Anderson on the reception.
Nice anticipation from Trayshawn Bourguet. Look at that coverage all over him, just draped. That ball's tipped before it gets there. Wonderful concentration for Nate Anderson. Excellent job being able to haul that pass in.
They have high hopes for Nate Anderson. They'd say he's the best route runner on the squad, just a freshman. Huge play for Western Michigan. If they're going to get back in this game, circle that one on 4th down. See where they go on 1st down. Back to the ground game. Again, it's Tyler finding it hard to find a crease anywhere. Gobbles up a couple. Jordan Porter on the stop for the Falcons.
You saw Trent Sims, safety number 8, come down just before the snap after the look over. Regardless, the offensive line not winning up front right now for Western Michigan. Not going to get that interior run game going if they can't find a way to get a push. There's your safety coming up late.
43rd play of the game for the Broncos, and it's a good one. Caught the 25, weaving his way past the 10, the 5, and a touchdown for Corey Crooms. The Broncos are on the board. A 39 touchdown pass from Bourguet to the junior Corey Crooms.
Safety wants to toy with you. You want to try to come up, roll up, play the run. What do? Attack it. Attack the soft zone. It's an excellent read by Trayshawn Bourguet. It's an excellent call by Tim Lester and Eric Evans to have the understanding of how Eric Lewis has been playing him this game and go right at it.
And what will that do for the confidence of Trayson Bourguet? That is his first career touchdown pass, and then they're not going to get the conversion. So you get momentum, and then you get stymied and have to settle for 6.
Take you back to that touchdown. Watch Trent Sims, 8, right side of your screen. He's flashing down. Okay, we'll attack right where you're supposed to be. And then Jordan Anderson just lost in coverage at that point. It's an excellent job of just understanding how the defense is playing you and where you want to attack it. That's a slight adjustment. It's a great job of just this staff understanding that you want to play us this way. We have to be aggressive and go after it. We can't continue to allow them to dictate how we run our offense and how we manage things through the passing game.
And Crooms is the only returning wide receiver. Remember, they lost 3-time All-MAC wideout Sky Moore. He was a second-round draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's now playing with Pat Mahomes over there, one of the most electric players in the entire conference. So they're trying to find their way in the passing game, not only with a new quarterback, but a lot of new wideouts. So you go with the veteran, you go with the one guy who's been around in Corey Crooms. And we have ourselves a ball game now, Cole, 1-score game.
Well, you had a bad snap, too, to Nick Mahalik, the holder there. And even though he runs that 10, 9, 8, and 100, couldn't find a way to get around the edge of that Bowling Green defense on the fire play with the snap. Was a worm burner back to him.
It's only the 3rd play of over 8 yards tonight for the Broncos offense. They have struggled at times, but it's a different-looking ball game now. The return by the Falcons, going all the way to the other side of the field and shoved out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Let's check in with Quinn.
I had a nice little discussion with Scott Leffler, Bowling Green coach, walking off at the end of the first half. And I asked him about playing this defense and what's important now in the second half. And he said, well, he likes some perimeter runs. He likes quick game. You got to get the ball out. And if you're going to throw, you're better off throwing on first down, play action or max protect. So with this game now, a 1-score game, look for those 3 Q-tips.
Well, I loved our conversation with Scott Leffler. There is a no-nonsense guy. When you sit down or you meet with him and chat ball, he's not going to sugarcoat anything. He talked about what he inherited. He knew it was going to be a tough job. He talked about the fact that Coach Dave Clawson, who's now done a wonderful job at Wake Forest, actually led Bowling Green to a MAC championship in 2013. He said, look, when you take that job, year number 1, you're going to stink. Year number 2, you're going to stink even more. Year number 3, you're going to win a few. Year number 4, you're going to be competitive. This is year number 4. And again, a win tonight. They're tied for first in the Eastern Division. On a second and short, great catch from behind, twisting his body. Odu Hilaire with a sensational grab. It only goes for 4 yards, but it's a first down.
From Belgrade, Florida, transferred from Alabama A&M in Huntsville, Alabama. This one just a little bit behind him, and look at that, caught with one hand, snag it, pull it in. Not going to do much of a yardage perspective, but heck of a grab nonetheless.
Belgrade, Florida, Glade Central, same high school that produced Fred Taylor, Riedel Anthony, and so many great players. This is a fine carry on first down. Jason Patterson, their workhorse, brought down by Delano Ware after a gain of 11.
You see some of the value of Christian Sims, 88, an overgrown receiver who's morphed into a pretty good tight end and such a valuable weapon. He pulls around on the counter play there, and just great patience from Jason Patterson to allow his blockers to get upfield, seal the edge, and then go find yardage.
We might have ourselves some offensive flow in this game for both sides. From the 49 on first down. Scrambling, looking downfield, throws, caught. Did he tightrope the sideline? He did, inbounds. C.J. Lewis, the senior, the transfer from Boston College, for 15.
C.J. Lewis, that big body receiver at 6'3", 215. Working the sideline. Nice grab.
78 career receptions for Lewis, senior out of Hamden, Connecticut. It's a great response drive so far for Bowling Green after the touchdown by the Broncos.
The previous play is under review. The ruling on the field was a completed pass for a first down.
Oh, Jay Lyons, our replay official tonight, will get a chance to mull this one over and take a look at a number of angles. Again, called a catch on the field. Part of a drive that has already gone for 38 yards on 4 plays. Scott Leffler would like this one to hold up.
Let's take another look, see if C.J. Lewis gets that foot down and bounce.
Looks pretty good there. A little bit of green between the sneaker and the out of bounds. I'm going with catch.
Well, the one thing that you could, I guess, debate or go back and take a look at is control of the football while that foot's on the ground, but it looks clean to me there.
After review, the ruling on the field
I don't feel like that's too much even of a debate.
Nope.
Official signals first down.
Well, the play will hold up and the drive will continue for the Falcons.
Nothing better than a replay official down on the field spending about 3 seconds in his little hood.
I think everybody likes that, right? Efficient.
What do you call that? What do you call the thing he stares into? What was the gimmick that circled around when we were kids and you kept pushing it?
Had one. Can't remember what it's called.
Kaleidoscope, something?
That sounds about right. I'll go with
ColecoVision.
Coleco is a video game, I believe. Deep ball down the sideline. Caught out of bounds.
I mean, this is the guy you want to do it to, right? If you're going to throw one up, throw it to Tyrone Broden.
And he's going up against an all-MAC corner in Dorian Jackson, but again, he's got about 9-10 inches on Jackson.
Yeah, Matt McDonald's just going to pull him a little bit out of bounds, but what's the ability to, he high points the ball, but it's still at face level for him. He's high pointing the ball in regards to the defender, but it's at face level for him.
In ColecoVision, that probably would go as a catch.
What do we have in ColecoVision? Pitfall?
That was Atari, presented by Activision.
Listen, I'm going to get some. I know Tecmo Bowl was on Nintendo Entertainment Center.
Yeah.
All right, I had that one.
I like this. You're bringing me back to my childhood. This is fantastic. There was a time we enjoyed low graphic football games on your home entertainment system. Hey, we're going to enjoy Week 9 Monday Night Football. Lamar Jackson of the Ravens in New Orleans to take on Alvin Kamara. and the Saints. 8 Eastern time on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. The Manning Cast is on ESPN2 with coverage beginning with Monday Night Countdown at 6 o'clock. He's Cole Cuban. Quinn Kesnick down on the sideline. Mike Morgan with you here in Bowling Green, Ohio. Action on a Wednesday night. A one-possession game. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. Both teams very much in contention in their respective divisions. Bowling Green, a win would put them in a three-place tie in the East. And the Western Division of the MAC is almost like the ACC Coastal. It seems like somebody different wins it every year. Last year, Northern Illinois. Before that, Ball State, Central Michigan. You had Toledo win one. PJ Fleck with Western Michigan in 2016 won it. Always seems to be up for grabs. A third down and 9 with McDonald out of the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. McDonald has it deflected at the line of scrimmage. Well, Bowling Green not able to block the heat provided by Zaire Barnes, number 3, the outside linebacker.
Pressure going to come in that B gap over on the left side, and Barnes just not picked up. Not an extremely difficult play, but he just goes up, understands that Matt McDonald's going to get that ball out, able to bat it down.
Again, too long for a field goal, so they'll go for it on 4th and 9 for the 35. Four-man rush. McDonald taps and lets it go. Wide open at the 15. It's caught by the tight end Sims. Inside the 10-yard line, a big-time fourth down conversion. 26 yards on the pickup.
We mentioned the value of Christian Sims earlier. Look right up the seam. Matt McDonald understands that Ryan Selig's not going to be able to run with his former wide receiver now converted to a tight end. Puts a laser right on his face mask. Excellent throw, excellent catch. What a conversion for Bowling Green.
And what a way to end quarter number 3. Impressive looking drive mounted by the Falcons. 9th play is coming up. A one-score game here in Ohio.
Bowling Green quarterback Matt McDonald cooking here in the second half. Now 20 of 26, 146 yards, pushing the football down the field. Understands getting rid of the ball, touch when necessary. They need a little extra juice, a little extra oil with the fries. Matt McDonald can get it done as well. That was a big conversion for the Bowling Green offense, rolling here in the second half.
Yeah, he's 20 for 26. He's hit 9 different receivers so far in this game. A first and goal here, up by 1 score, looking to add to it. First down carry, taking it to the 5 is Patterson. A pickup of 4, second down and goal as we get the fourth quarter underway here at the Doit.
Just a massive possession for this Western Michigan defense. How aggressive do you want to be if you're Lou Esposito?
It'll be the 10th play of the drive. Patterson behind McDonald. And a little end around to the 5 and into the end zone for a touchdown. Ball comes out late. And it's going to be a touchback. Oh my goodness. Sims had a short touchdown. And Western Michigan recovers.
First off, once again, the value of Harold Fannin, 44 for Bowling Green. Look at the block out front right there by Fannin. Excellent job. Here comes Sims. Oh, the ball is out.
Wow. What a play by Delano Ware, the safety. The recovery by Barnes, but look at this play by 26 and White. I mean, that had 6 written all over it. He comes flying in, and that might save the game potentially for Western Michigan.
Boy, Joe Palcic, the safeties coach for Western Michigan, going to be happy. Told me Delano Ware watches more film than anybody that we have. Said he is a grown man. He is mature. He is fun to be around. He understands everything about college football and how to handle yourself as a college football player. Started his career at Illinois. Humble. And you saw a lot of that description show up on that play. for the Western Michigan safety.
He deserves the belt on that one. That's the third turnover, meanwhile, for Bowling Green. So here come the Broncos, down by a touchdown. On first down, big hole straight up the gut. Out to the 26-yard line. It's Tyler, a gain of 6. Weiss Brand on the tackle.
One question you ask yourself there, Mike, is you're down that far. You can close this game out, and you're handing your football to a tight end.
Yeah. It's worthy of second guess. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
the play design was there. Don't get me wrong. The play was going to operate. You had the score, but just...
And it did take an exceptional effort on defense to jar that thing loose. I mean, inches before the goal line. Second down from the pocket. Tipped in. Incomplete. He had it. Then Sambucci. Anthony Sambucci. They say he's coming on. He wants more targets. That's one he could have reeled in.
Well, now Corey Crooms looked like he's sort of gimpy coming off the field here for Western Michigan as well. Take another look. It's Trayshawn Burgay right down the middle of the field. What a throw. That's a tough catch. Don't get me wrong. But what we talk about, keys beginning of this game, help the young quarterback out.
Yeah, you're going to need to make some exceptional plays for your freshman quarterback tonight. Broncos 4 of 10 on third down. This is 3rd and 4. Fake the draw, fire the pass, and that one looked dangerous. He threw it into traffic, and Nate Anderson, I think, was expecting a hit that never came and flat out missed it.
Good ball placement from Trayson Bourget. Right out in front. Just trying to get it out in the flat to the receiver. Had space. I mean, I think Anderson picks up first down yardage if he catches this pass. I realize that Trent Sims is right there, but I mean, Anderson's got the angle over to the sideline in the marker.
Yeah, that's 2 passes that could have been caught, both of which would have been a first down. So it turns out to be a wasted opportunity for the Broncos. Short punt takes a Broncos bounce inside the 35 and a roll dead at the 33-yard line. A 42-yard punt. It's still a one-score game. Bowling Green 13, Western Michigan 6. You are watching ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. Mike Morgan, Cole Kublin, Quint Kesnick. You see Christian Sims. This is the turnover of the game.
2nd and goal from the 5. First turnover in the 4th quarter for Bowling Green all season. You're going to an all-conference player, I get it, but do you trust him with the ball inside the 5 more so than you do Jason Patterson, Teron Keefe?
That's really what's kept.
You can't be mad at the play design. It worked,
right?
But
it's who's got the ball. They did give it to a tight end previously. The other tight end, Harold Fannin, got a rushing score. He's had a couple this year.
Who had a heck of a block on that play as well.
That's right. Bowling Green will try to impose its will on this drive. 12 minutes and change to go. Still a one-score game. Stifling defense dominated the first half. There have been a lot of errors here, quite frankly, in the second half. Bowling Green's got 3 turnovers keeping the Broncos in this game.
Just odd how both teams really have put the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Now, not all have been as painful as what Western Michigan has done as they have a player down.
And that is a good one, too. And Marshawn named Betty White. We didn't even ask where that came from. But he and Betty White driving all across the country. I mean, Idaho, Michigan, left coast, right coast, north, south. There he is in the swamp. There he is hanging out in the van. And this is what the map looks like. Again, he's got a goal of attending 70 college football games at 70 different stadiums this year. He's going to go all the way through the college football playoff. He has logged 29,000 miles already. This is his 39th game that he has attended. I mean, who in the world would not want to live the life of Ben Chase? If you've got the time and next to zero responsibility, Ben Chase just became my spirit animal.
Yeah, first one would be somebody with a bad back or bad knees spending that much time in the vehicle. You would not want to do that. Secondly,
offense number 55, 10-yard penalty, first down.
He's living a dream life that I think a lot of us in our youth would have loved to have lived. Now, that being said, He also appears to be a worse fan than Kenny Chesney, wearing the school gear of everywhere that he goes.
Yes.
That part I'm not sure that I can get on board with. However, going to watching that, it's week 10, 39 games.
Yeah.
It's week 10. How many doubleheaders has he pulled?
Well, he was at Kent State last night,
but he had to have had some Saturday doubleheaders.
Oh, he's had several.
He gets like a wake and then drives to Clemson or something.
Yes.
There had to have been a bunch of those.
He has had several doubleheaders already this year. Now, there's no official record for this, although he has applied for a Guinness record, and he should know later this month whether or not he gets accepted. If he does, his name is going to be in that book.
Yeah, anybody who used to watch, Rob Dyrdek back in the day, you just make up a record and you do it, and nobody else has tried it, you get the certificate for the record. Like Rob showed it, he paved the way for that.
I wonder who fixed the nail in the tire. Pass caught at the 40, but still well behind the chains. That's Broden on the reception. Quint, what do you have?
More on Ben, who grew up in Orlando. He was a big UCF fan. Bounce house energy is all he's about. He went to Florida, but with this itinerary and this media attention and this trek he's on, how about a little NIL deal for him? I mean, to me, he sounds perfect for it. They should be lining up at his door.
There's got to be a gasoline company, a tire company, maybe a vehicle wants to step in.
I actually reached out to him yesterday on Twitter. He said he had a 28-hour drive from Tucson, Arizona to Kent State. So that's the game he was at last night after a 28-hour drive. And he comes here, and he's here for this.
I got to be honest
he's
with
still
you.
got juice. Look at him.
I don't feel like the efficiency of that drive. There had to be some games in between there. What are we doing?
Maybe the nail in the tire, maybe one of those oil changes came into play.
We got to change our personnel, or we got to look at some different formations. I mean, he kind of feels like Texas A&M's offense on this journey right now.
Oh, man. Ouch. Meanwhile, big stop for the Broncos. They'll get it back just down a score. Nice-looking punt. Bounces at the 20, scooped up. And taken out to the 25-yard line. That's Sambucci on the return, a 41-yard punt. No.
You go, Ben.
You go,
Living
Ben.
your best life. I'm all about it.
Ben Chase, you have become a part of Maction culture tonight. 13-6 our score.
ESPN College Football is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
10:40 to go here in the fourth quarter. It's a 13-6 game, and perhaps the biggest drive of the night. If you're Western Michigan, the Broncos have struggled to move the football. When they have, they've had some critical mistakes. Did score a touchdown in the third quarter, then missed the extra point. Chance to tie the ball game up here with time and a perfect strike, and you can see now Trayson Bourguet-Cole starting to gain confidence. Sambucci on the grab.
Getting comfortable. I feel like the coach is doing a nice job adjusting some things in the passing game, getting the football out quickly, changing up a few of the RPOs, protection, gotten a little bit better. That time just get through all your progressions. Nice job over to the sideline, and an excellent catch as well by Sambucci.
Motion on the line. Bourguet was looking to the sideline. And clearly they were not going to snap it. Carl Brooks might have jumped, or Jack Sherwin, the right tackle.
False start. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And it is on Sherwin.
It'll be the offensive lineman nearest to you. There you see the little flinch right there. It's a smart play by Brooks as well. You see the movement. Go ahead and go. Stop the play.
Bourguet out of the gun on first down. Carey behind the left side of that line, and that'll gain the penalty yards back. 5-yard gain that time by Tyler. Sean Tyler very quietly is having a good night. He just hit the century mark. 23 carries, 100 yards. They just haven't had the big play either on a run to Tyler or on a reception.
And they thought they were going to be able to get it with some of the cutback runs with how this defense is structured. This cushion at the bottom of your screen.
Maybe a little confusion there. Bourguet thought there'd be somebody behind him, takes it himself, and got blasted by DJ Taylor. Popping pads, we could hear that one all the way up here.
DJ Taylor coming downhill like Sean Taylor tonight. It's just, the young man is not afraid of contact, welcomes it, loves it. He gets the opportunity, he's going to get north and south. Wow.
Did it look like Bourguet to you thought something different would be there?
That looked like a bust to me, yes. But a pretty nice job of him actually being able to find some positive yards out of it.
A 3rd down and 8. Falcons, or rather the Broncos, 4 for 11 on 3rd down. From the 40, 4-man rush. Bourguet dumps it down low at the 35. Penalty flag falls all the way in the backfield. They only get it to the 40 anyway.
That's going to be Demetrius Hardeman. Roughing the
Personal
passer.
foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 14. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
Well, at times you have to wonder who wants to win this game, because it just critical mistakes on both sides.
You've mentioned it, whether it's turnovers, penalties. So it's a nice job there by the back. Sean Tyler to just say, okay, I'm going to pick you up. No, I'm out. And then Trayson Bourguet just gets that football out, and it's close. I get it. Hardeman's going full speed. It's difficult to just pull up and stop on that play.
Well, that keeps the drive going. In plus territory at the 45. Run on 1st down. They dial up Sean Tyler again, over 100 yards. Tyler, the 5'8" junior. His father calls his hero chief of police back in Champaign, Illinois. In the military before that. He's actually done both at the same time. He's an amazing story, and no wonder why Sean Tyler calls his dad his hero.
I like how Tim Lester and the staff sticking with the run game here on this drive.
Plenty of time in this game for Western Michigan. On 2nd down, play action. Has a man caught at the 25. Weaving his way to the 15 and inside the 10. It's Corey Crooms. When in doubt, go to number 4 in white. Their best wide receiver makes a huge play for 35 yards.
We mentioned in the first half that the RPO game didn't look like it was working out, but obviously Trayson Bourguet has it now figured out once again. Trent Sims, safety, comes flying down. They attack where he was.
Quick pass caught at the 10 and down to the 5. It's Crooms again. So those two are clearly on the same page.
It's just an excellent job game planning where the safety's rolling down, trying to be added to the box.
5 grabs for Crooms now, along with the touchdown.
And for me, if you're Eric Lewis, Bowling Green defensive coordinator, why are you trying to add extra defenders to the run game right now? Just play back, make them work their way down the field.
Defender.
And a player down on the field. This might be the best thing for for Bowling Green, because Western Michigan finally had that Bowling Green D back on its heels. It's Chris Bacon down on the ground. Want to remind everybody, our next UFC Fight Night Saturday from the Apex in Las Vegas will feature our women's strawweight main event. The prelim starting at 4 Eastern, followed by the main card at 7 Eastern on ESPN+. To get it, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. With Quint Kestic, Cole Cuban, Mike Morgan, great to be with you here. Little Maction on a Wednesday night, a beautiful night. Bowling Green, Ohio, unseasonably warm. Bowling Green has been one of the hotter teams in the league, and a chance to tie Ohio and Buffalo for first place in the East. If the Broncos can come back and win it, they would be just 1 game behind Toledo in the West.
Western Michigan, 111th in college football in red zone scoring percentage, 50% on the season.
2nd and goal, bad snap. It winds up in the running back's hands, and Tyler's just going to have to eat it and take a major loss. That ball went through the hands of Bourguet, into the hands of Tyler, and a loss of 9.
No, and he was ready for it. The snap was on his hands. It's not a bad snap. It's not a situation where he's looking over to get a play. It just pops right through his hands. Look at that. It's a good snap and a pretty heads-up play by Sean Tyler. Goes right into his belly. Tries to make something happen. Can't. Just ate it. Like you said, give yourself at least another play.
Corey Crooms is in the slot at the top of your screen. He's been by far and away the top target for Bourguet. Bourget harassed, throws a little corner route and incomplete. Crooms was there, but so too was Trent Sims on the coverage step for step. Carl Brooks, by the way, another pressure for him, got right in the face of Bourget.
You'd love to see that ball go back to the pylon. Just going to pull Crooms just back inside a little bit. But I'm not sure, maybe the route breaks off just a little bit early for Crooms. And you wonder, if you slow down and really make an adjustment, make a hard adjustment on that football, are you going to draw the flag?
And keep in mind the Broncos missed that extra point. This field goal would make it a 4-point game. It would have been a 3-point game. It's a 31-yard attempt. Kick on the way and through. So we have arrived at a 13-9 score. 5:28 to go. Maction Wednesday night. Bowling Green, Ohio. Stay tuned. The 4-point lead as we take a look at tonight's player spotlight. Brought to you by Tide. And we're going to the defensive side of the football. Carl Brooks has been an absolute menace on the defensive side for that Bowling Green defense tonight. 6 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a half a sack. That doesn't even account all the pressures. It seems like Carl Brooks has been in the backfield all night.
Well, not to mention redirecting runs, causing penetration. He's been all over the place for this Bowling Green defense tonight.
Special talent. He's got a chance to play at the next level. Meanwhile, we're still looking at a 1-possession game, and because of that missed extra point, it's still a 4-point game. You and I were talking, Cole, over the break. Some might be saying, if you're Western Michigan there, what's the point of a field goal? Why not go for it? It was 4th and 14, but why not go for it anyway?
You look at it from a field position perspective. I mean, listen, I think Big Cat's not the only one out there asking the question, why would you kick the field goal right there? I understand the down and distance, but you don't get it. You get the ball back. You can still have a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to do the damage that you need to do. Now you're not even a field goal away from being able to tie the football game. I don't know if an analytics comes into that if you look at the book and see what it says, but questionable decision nonetheless.
Pass caught in the flat by Hilaire. Met by Anthony Rump. 5 minutes and counting left.
You got 3 timeouts, so that's another,
still plenty of time
way to look at it. But you got to get a stop.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and really what has stopped Bowling Green more than anything is themselves. Either a turnover or a penalty. They've been moving the football with a rather ease here in much of the second half. That's not been the issue. It's been the mistakes. Bleeding play clock here. Probably won't snap it until under 10. They snap it at 7. And a push behind the right side of that line sets up 3rd down, and now things get very interesting.
That's the one thing that can happen. Allow somebody to lean forward, turn the legs, and pick up an extra 4 or 5 yards.
And players slow to get up for the Falcons. It's Keith, a running back. And it stops the clock. 4:21 to go. Again, Western Michigan has all 3 timeouts remaining. But if you want to really do yourself a favor, get a stop right here on a 3rd and 4. Bowling Green 4 for 13 on 3rd down tonight. Trips to the near side with McDonald out of the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. McDonald from the pocket. Rifles incomplete. They dialed up the blitz. Broden was the intended target, but McDonald had to rush the throw. And yeah, that man, Lou Esposito, defensive coordinator, he's fired up.
Big Lou, gotta love him. Guy's so much fun. During the break, he's sitting there like loosening his arms. Look like he's getting ready to go fight somebody. I love Lou.
So do the players when he's working the green egg.
Excellent pass rush there by Andre Carter as well right there. Number 1, forced that ball to come out a little bit quicker, I think, than Matt McDonald wanted it to.
So the strategy turns out pretty well as Western Michigan now, they could play what perhaps would be the final drive and maybe a touchdown winning drive. This is a great punt by Sir. And a fair catch all the way inside the 10-yard line. A 51-yard punt at the perfect time. They'll spot it at the 10. The Broncos will come back out on offense. And the good news, if you're Western Michigan, that man has gained a ton of confidence here in the last few drives. The freshman Bourguet in just his second career start.
He's had some confidence. They've altered the RPO game a little bit. Done an excellent job with the reads on safeties that are coming down in run support. More interesting enough, I think, is how Bowling Green plays this defensively. Does Eric Lewis stay aggressive, especially with the safeties screaming down to the box?
90 yards away from what would be the first lead of the night for the Broncos.
So you got trips to the field, nub tight end up top.
Pass caught at the 14. It's Crooms again. Crooms now continues to be the top target. That's 6 grabs, over 95 yards and a touchdown.
Keep in mind, this is a staff that retooled the responsibilities on offense 2 weeks ago. Tim Lester took over as the offensive coordinator, but Eric Evans, the running back coach, now calling the plays, different from what they were doing 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they did an entire overhaul on how they were dialing up plays. This late in the season, that's pretty rare. On second down, trying to get to the edge and just shoved out of bounds. Sean Tyler, Deshaun Jones there to meet him. Now you've got another third down and manageable. It's to be about 3rd and 6, maybe 3rd and 7. Now we're talking 4-down territory, are we not?
Absolutely.
So
which changes your play calling here. Don't have to have some that gets to the sticks, can work underneath a little bit more, work the middle of the field if you want.
Don't have to get it all right back here. Bourguet with Sean Tyler to his right. 4-man rush. Toss complete at the 25-yard line of first down. There's that man again, Corey Crooms, over 100 yards, 11 yards right there on a first down.
From the opposite hash, what a throw from Tracian Bourguet. Just going to have to push this one all the way across the field. You see a nice route there by Nate Anderson, 18. He knew he had to remove the leverage inside so Bourguet could get that throw out to the sideline.
Under 2.5 minutes to go from the 25. Bourguet, play action. Surveys, deep shot down the middle of the field. Has a man caught at the 38-yard line. It's Crooms again, weaving his way to the boundary inside the 30-yard line. Biggest pass play of the night for the Broncos, 47 yards.
They max protected up, keep the back end slided to the left. So you got 6 bodies in protection. And there's the post route. An excellent adjustment from Corey Crooms. Goes, attacks the football. Knows the safety's coming across. Doesn't get contact. He's able to add a few yards after the catch. What a play.
Yeah, that was almost a head-on collision with the safety. Avoided the contact, made the catch, and the drive continues. Again going for Corey Crooms. But incomplete that time. Second down and 10. Clock stops at 1:52. I mean, if you're Bowling Green, don't you double team number 4 and White at this point?
I don't know if you want to double him, but you got to keep a safety at least within arm's reach. Now you'll go single safety unless they're going to drop back to cover 3 here at the snap. A lot of cushion on the perimeter.
Blitz. Bourguet cocks and fires, and that one a little bit too strong. Intended for Galloway.
Oh, and it's the right route. You get 10, 12 yards off the receiver from the corner. Just go throw it. Hit the comeback, throwing out. Take the yardage that they're giving you. Time not much of an issue right now, but down in distance does become an issue with 3rd and 10.
Oh, what you would do to get that extra point back. You could play for a field goal here. Well, obviously, you got to get 7, and you got to go for it if there is a 4th down. So 2-down territory on 3rd and 10 from the 27. Buying time. Heavy traffic now is going to tuck it and run at the 25. Dives past the 20 and down to the 19. What a play by the freshman Bourget. A 9-yard gallop. I mean, there was nothing there. Nobody open downfield. Pressure to his left and to his right. He just made this on his own.
It's the cut just past the line of scrimmage from Trayshawn Bourget. Pretty good push on the pass rush there. He feels it, but he gets north and south. And watch this cut right here. Jumping over tacklers. I mean, he stuck that foot in the ground, got back inside. It was a gutsy run there for the freshman quarterback.
Now, again, this could have been a field goal situation on 4th and 2, but you go back on the first touchdown in the third quarter. Broncos get the touchdown to Corey Crooms, and the extra point went awry.
There you see the bad snap, fire. Nick Mahalik not able to use that 10-9, 800-yard dash to be able to get to the end zone. Costly missed opportunity on an extra point there for Western Michigan. The special teams coach, Joe Palcic, furious over that one.
What do you like here on 4th and 2?
Give my quarterback the option to run. He's proven that he's got the ability to do it. Let him read it and have the option to keep it.
Another blitz. Bourget buying time. Throws underneath. Caught at the 21 and driven backwards. Galloway can't get any yards after catch. Demetrius Hart have been leading the charge defensively, and the Falcons will take over on downs.
Go motion to try and get the coverage, going to leave it back into protection and still flushes the quarterback out. He didn't have much of an option there. You feel the pressure. Bourget's got to get outside the pocket, just trying to make a play, make something happen. And it's not enough. Obviously not to the sticks. Defense already in pursuit. Not going to be able to pick up first down yardage. Brutal there.
We talked so much about the pressure tonight.
I just felt like there, Mike, you want to move the pocket. The RPO game had been on.
Right.
They found it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Go back to it. If you want to add a quarterback run option to it, I think there would have been the time to do it. Just tough to allow that pressure right up the gut. Gets in the face of the freshman QB.
Not much the Broncos can do here. 2 timeouts, a minute 22 on the clock. And if you're Bowling Green, you have got a chance to improve to 4-1 in conference.
Second charge
tie for first place.
Western Michigan. 30 seconds.
Another reminder that Bryce Young and number 6 Alabama square off against Jaden Daniels, number 10 LSU, in a huge SEC Western Division matchup. Coverage beginning Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Give me a key for LSU if they're going to pull it off.
99 and 92 up front on defense. Mekhi Wingo, Ja'Kalen Roy have to have big games, disrupt up front, get in the face of Bryce Young, make him move off platform. Take away Jahmyr Gibbs in the run game, and that Alabama offensive line last time out against Mississippi State, they allowed a lot of that. LSU has the bodies to be able to do it.
There you see the standings I was alluding to earlier. You would have a 4-way tie at the top at 4-1. Ohio, Buffalo, Toledo, and Bowling Green.
Action.
You got to
exactly
love
what it is.
And again, the last time they won it, Bowling Green, 2015 MAC champions with Dino Babers. Before that, it was 2013 with Dave Clawson. Now the head coach of Wake Forest. This might put the finishing touches on a victory. Stays inbounds, I believe. Yes. The clock will stop momentarily for the first down.
It's at 14 personnel again for Bowling Green. 4 tight ends in the game. I love it, just the fact that how many teams in college football don't have 4 tight ends that'll see the field this entire season. Scott Leffler's running multiple times tonight. An excellent job staying inbounds there.
And
the anti-tank.
An excellent job by Scott Leffler turning this program around. Again, he was told by a number of people, if you take that job, you got a heck of a rebuild ahead of you. Scott Leffler has coached at a number of places, college, pro. This was a job, this was a challenge he embraced. He wanted it. He wanted to take Bowling Green back to a MAC championship game, and this will go a long way towards that goal as they will hold on. It was a defensive struggle much of the way, A lot of mistakes on both sides, but Bowling Green is going to find itself with a tie for first place, 4-1 in MAC play.
Not sure many people know the shape that this program was in, Mike. Scott Leffler ran 40 scholarship players off of this football team just because of the way that they acted and the way that they handled things. He's had to rebuild it. He's had to retool it. A couple of guys have stuck around and gone through a lot. He's added players through the portal. They've recruited, gotten back to drawing that 4-hour circle around this campus and recruiting local guys. Pretty impressive with where he has it right now compared to a couple of years ago.
He told us it took him a month just to figure out who was on his roster. It was a little bit of a mess for sure. This was not a mess. This was a lot of fun. Action this Wednesday night here from Bowling Green. Again, the final score, the Falcons win it 13-9. For Cole Kublik, Quint Kestic, and our entire ESPN crew, Mike Morgan saying so long. Coming up next, NBA, Grizzlies, Trailblazers. So long, everybody.
Sharp, the rookie in the backcourt for the Blazers. He's been a great story. Hart, Grant, and Nurkic on the front line. Want to welcome those of you just joining us on ESPN as we get ready to run one between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Portland Trailblazers. Portland without Dame Lillard tonight, but